I want to see some cats today. Walk around the compound. Oh, the peets and squeaks especially. So let's walk around the compound.
Godzilla went on an adventure. We found out the culprit. It was the chain. We had to actually put a new carabiner on it because the other bracket that was on there, like a spring, got rusty and busted. So then he was able. Godzilla was able to just like just slow motion barrel through it. You're supposed to be security. You're supposed to keep him contained. Well, you had one job. You had one job, Bubbles. You had one job. You're not even listening. I don't know, people. When you got like a bunch of tigers and everything, you know. Because it's like we have so many like redundant safety measures and checks, and there's a system in place to make sure that security and safety is being adhered to. So I guess it's like, you know, when it's a tortoise, people would be like, oh no, what would you do? Go with if like people didn't know, and then be like, we would tell the sheriff to get on the radio and alert the community. Tell everyone to lock their doors. Godzilla's on the loose. He's got a top speed of 2.7 miles an hour. He'll trim all the grass in your yard. Watch out. Besides all of the rest of the perimeter, and like all the gates and everything are shut anyway. So it's just a matter of just like, oh, hide and go turtle. Just here or just on the greater property. We'd eventually find him. Joe. Where? Oh, wait, no. Oh. Joe, you made me miss a roll. Joe, seriously, you made me miss a roll. What's the matter with you? Hi. Hello, all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. What is it about oftentimes not remembering to do the intro closer to the beginning of the actual cast? Well, the situation is still the same. I'm spending time with the missus. Very important. Time of respite and time together. Both of which are needed. Physical, spiritual, emotional, relationshipal rest together. Wait, this hand is holding that. I was going to try to do the fingers. There, see? Hi! I watched season 2 of One Punch Man last week. Yeah. Diwali. Oh no. Whoops. Stinky face. You have stink. You have a stink. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. I watched season 2 and very good. Very good. Definitely like a noticeable step down in quality. And then I looked into it and then I saw like some of the various reasons why. Well, the production company changed. That was one thing. But one thing, and I remember, I love going into comments. I love reading comment sections whenever I am interested in a thing. spend a lot of time on YouTube and Reddit comment threads, because they can act as a good kind of litmus test for just how people are thinking about any given kind of whatever. My guess, as far as OPM is concerned, which is it's a Japanese animation. Yeah, it is, and that's another one of those things. I don't know if I talked about this in like one of the. I know when I was talking about. Oh yeah, no. When I was talking about Marvel, I was talking about like Marvel things, or if I talk about football, you know, and people are like, Derek. That's another one of those. That's another one of those things. But that really is more of a universal. Like if you just even like invoke the idea that yes, I sometimes will consume the content medium of Japanese animation, you know, knowingly and willingly for the purposes of entertainment. There's like a healthy subset of the population that'll just kind of look at you with a raised eyebrow and be like, oh, you're one of those guys, huh? And this is like, not to what the degree you're thinking. That's a whole different extreme. Yeah. Oh, that's fedorable. Why don't you and your waifu pillow just go hang out somewhere else? No. But yeah, the second season. But the thing is, okay, because this is actually a jumping off point. It's a greater conversation thread that I was thinking about, and I'll get to it, to that ultimate point. But I have to do it. I have to use this example to get to that greater point, a greater point that can then include people who don't, you know, watch those types of things. Because basically what I'm about to describe is a process that I'm sure that you've seen in various other forms of media, shows, movies, TV, art, music, etc., etc. So just humor me for a second. Yeah, going into different kind of comment threads and watching different kind of, you know, videos. Because as soon as I got done with the second season, like, I'll start doing deep dives. If I, like, anytime I watch a movie or I watch a show or watch something like that, I like to just kind of read about it. Again, YouTube comments, a lot of Reddit. And, yeah, the production studio changed, but then someone made a good point, or an interesting point, and I don't know if it's like an accurate point, but it makes sense, where it's like, well, at some point, yeah, production studios, they can just kind of become like a box that you just kind of put money into, and it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, it's automatically going to mean that any one animation is going to be better than any other. A lot of times it has more to do with like the talent and the team behind. Whoa, look at that woo woo woo. Wow. That is a huge woo woo woo. That is a huge woo woo. Huge, big, so big. Look at it. Look at it on your screen. Hey, you like anime? I got some cassette tapes in my basement of animation. If you'd like to see some of the cassette tapes that I've collected over the years, I could take you down into the basement. You could see some of my animation cassette tapes. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. But yeah, I guess that it's a much more. Well, it's the same thing, like with just regular movies. You know, okay, you'll have like Universal Studios versus Paramount Studios versus whatever. And generally speaking, yeah, you could have like certain production companies that are going to have a little bit more of a better track record for quality. But really, do you go to movies that like, oh, this studio makes this? Or do you go to a movie because like, oh, there's this kind of team behind it, or there's this director, or this particular producer? I like what they do. So like individual talent versus what the studio kind of comes up with. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I guess the first season, the director was different. I don't know who the director was, but the director was someone who is like very noteworthy. And I guess that director also has a lot of goodwill and can make a lot of connections. And I guess the other thing too is that with certain like animation, that there's like different technical experts. So, you know, one person may be like really, really good at shading certain kind of things. And then another person might be really, really good at like making metal effects. Like the actual, like how like sheen and shine and how that kind of looks in like a moving kind of capacity. Other people might be really, really good at, you know, certain type of action scenes, or others are good at energy and explosion type things. And I guess that this director was able to attract like this all-star team for that first season. Was able to attract an all-star team for One Punch Man season 1. And that's the other thing. It's like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, yes. I'm not one of those kind of guys who like sits there and just like, oh yes, there's notes of bergamot, yes, and orange peel. Like I don't, who like tries to make it seem like I know more. I'm just going off of what some other folks have said, and I'm like, that makes sense, okay. But I will say that even though I may not necessarily know specifically, like what the notes of bergamot and orange peel act, or how to actually define that. I kind of, I can sense quality when it's present. Same thing with like music, same thing with movies, and there's a lot of times where it's like, I don't know exactly what sort of special sauce or spices or mix kind of comes together, but there's a feeling I get when I'm watching or listening or consuming this particular thing, and it's just good. And it's just good. And then you'll have like a really great, amazing movie, something like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a really awesome thing. It just hit all these right buttons. It was a fantastic story, great kind of dialogue sequence, cinematography, whatever it is that you like about a particular movie. And then, oh, sequel is greenlit. Oh my gosh, awesome, let's go and see that. And then it's just like, and for whatever reason, it's not the same. Doesn't have the same oomph. You know, and we're only gonna do 2 normal webcasts this week. I'm just gonna go into the lower with the remaining light that we have. Just so I can just kind of be able to wrap up, cover the compound, and then get back to the missus, you know, so we can continue playing our spooky game. It's the new Resident Evil, by the way, which is pretty good. But I remember, watching that first season. I remember watching it years ago, and again, when I rewatched it, I was like so happy and so excited and just so engaged, and my eyes were very glued and fixed, and my senses were just very kind of blah. They were really tiddle. There was a there's a bug. It was a weird one too. Oh my gosh! I thought it was like a leaf. So like when I put my hand, it was like big and fat. It just was like yeah, and it like landed on top of my hand. It just startled me. It didn't hurt me or anything like that. Ross is like, oh my gosh. Ross is like, people get excited to like, oh, they get excited when they meet, oh, Derek, Big Kid Derek. If only they knew how much of a wiener you are. Yeah. I talk about anime, and then I get scared when bugs are around. Hi boys. I don't know what sort of lions I'm gonna get, so I gotta be very careful. I'm gonna come this way. I'm gonna approach the raw side first, because usually it's better if I approach the raw side first. Approach the raw side. Hi. 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 Oh, hey, mister. But there's like a lot of comment threads. They were making some really interesting remarks about how like that first season of One Punch Man, the quality on every single episode is so good that basically you're watching an entire first season of just home run after home run after home run, and then each scene home run after home run after home, and it just felt so good and special. Just the quality was just so high. Even though I couldn't necessarily like articulate what it was that I was seeing, I could just get, I felt like it was just like, this is great. Now, second season, it was still good. That's the other thing. It's not to sit there and denigrate or dog or say just like, oh, this other, and then these bozos, these trash hounds picked it up on the next one. It's like they gave it an honest effort. And just by regular kind of standards, it was like fine. It was fine. It's really hilarious whenever you go into some of the comment threads, and then some of the self-righteous weeaboos basically just like, the second season was a travesty. It was a travesty. You know, I'm like, all right, calm down. Calm down. It's like, let's temper our expectations a little bit, or let's not take things so serious, because it was only deserving of masterpiece level. And it's like, look, I was disappointed that it wasn't as good as that first one was, but maybe that first one was just lightning in a bottle, and that's just a hard thing to come by. Who knows? Then also like the second season, because like the novelty of the concept has to wear off a little bit too. I will say that I actually very much so enjoyed a lot of the storytelling of the second season, because it ended up going into a lot of the backstory of like, you know, constituent members of the Hero Association. Thought that was a good kind of thing. So even though like the quality of the animation and like some of the story, and like it's like the difference between like individual kind of like story crafting and world building versus like certain execution elements, you know, that can be a little bit kind of disjointed. It's whatever. Boom boom. And I guess like if the timetable or the time frame in which they had to like do the second season, I don't think was as like long. So they again, like time constraints high. That was a thing, which of course, you know, you got the crunch stuff. So this is where the tie-in happens. Okay. Again, movies. I'll give you like a different, like another example of like something like a common thing or a thing that has happened within other types of, you know, entertainment medium spaces. Like a Kiss, the band Kiss. You had the first 4. You had the original Paul, Gene, Peter, Ace. And then, you know, Peter and Ace are asked to not show up anymore because they are having some difficult time with substances and schedules. So then Gene and Paul replace him. And the band keeps on going. New guys, new makeup. A lot of hardcore Kiss fans, they were just like, this, you know, it's not the original, but I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm still going to like the band. Ooh, hi. Yeah, whatever. Just, I mean, yuck, gross. Yeah, dumb. So then again, if that's a thing where it's just like, oh, quality. And then it's just like, dip. And okay, it might not necessarily be. And the thing is, this is the other thing. The dip may still be at a higher level than pretty much like so much of the other competition. A tremendous amount. But when you compare the thing at the dip to like what it was at its inception or at its peak, it's difficult to say like, oh my gosh, this is like, I'm enjoying this to the same level. That's why it's like, you can criticize it that much more harshly, because there's a lot of other like really hardcore Kiss fans who are just like, you destroyed the band, you destroyed my childhood. Oh my gosh. Of course, Star Wars. Oh boy, that's bad. Star Wars. How many people are just like, well, childhood. My childhood. Yeah. My childhood. What are other examples? What are examples of TV shows, of movies, of music, of things that you have been a fan of, that you're still a fan of, but they went through a change of some sort. They went through some sort of production something. Things behind the scenes changed. Different people in different spots in different positions, and it just became something, you know, different, and maybe the quality went down, or sometimes things will happen or changes will happen. Maybe some people like say that the quality kind of, you know, goes up. I think that actually happened with Mystery Science Theater 3000. I think that when they actually went to a little bit more of like a regimented and scripted kind of format, I think that the shows got better. That's just me. A lot of people liked actually a lot of which is funny because like I'm very big into just like improvisational type stuff. Maybe I need to watch a little bit more of like the early stuff to make a better judgment on that. Look at Ezra. He's just sitting there. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Choo-choo. Choo-choo. Choo. So that's the tie-in. Like, oh, sorry. I mean, I do know, I did talk a lot about just most of the show is about anime. But there's other stuff. There are other things who have gone through various kind of ups and downs. Or like, you know, like a movie that's like, oh my gosh, it's really awesome. And then like a new director, new producer. And then it's like still like the sequel's like still good, but it's just like, it's not. But then it's like maybe that kind of meh. Because that's why I like to look at things from, yeah. I'm trying to webcast. Jeez, thank you. Because that's another thing too. You know what? That's so stupid. How many people were like, Derek, shut up. He's roaring. And I hear it so often. I'm just like, ah. I'm talking about anime. Stop roaring. Hey. But I guess that's another, like maybe another nuanced part of that kind of conversation, or maybe that overarching question that I'm asking. Maybe are there things that, okay, high peak, and then they kind of lulled, not like completely tanked, not completely torpedoed. They're still good quality. And again, when you compare the lull thing to the other kind of competition of other types of mediums, it's still like a top tier thing. But the fans of whatever the thing is got really just like, oh! Unfairly. Because fans never do that, right? Fans of a thing that has like a high degree of quality never get toxic and weird, right? You deserve to have your toenails pulled out for diminishing the quality of the thing that I love so much. That's all I have. I'm so unhappy and alone. Hi. Hi. Oh, and then also bonus question. Like if you think like some of the Hero Association members were cats of care, which of the heroes would they be? I think Slade might be Metal Bat. Yeah. O'Reilly would be King. I don't know. I'm not basing any of those really. I don't know. Maybe a little bit. except like a version of King that is like, you know, kind of has like weird emotional, but can actually back it up. Anyway. Thank you for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorpus Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep them tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy. Thank you for being fancy. And we will see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
The webcast is now over. Thanks for watching. You should like and subscribe for more Big Cat content.